So we're going to touch on something that you may not know, but that we know. All right. Let me see. Let's go. I ain't going to read all that. But let's go to what I want. Let's go to Genesis. No, Genesis 37 and 2. Because what I'm going to touch on now is what? Agriculture. All right. We were known to deal with the agriculture, with farming. All right. That's a part of your heritage. Right. All right. Or your inheritance of what? Getting something passed down to you. And it was what? Land. And how did you cultivate that land? Through what? Farming. Right. Through agriculture, as they call it today. Right. All right. Or husbandry. Or husbandman. All right. Or husbandry, either one. Right. So read that in Genesis 37 and 2. You get that with you. Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 37 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
These are the generations of Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren.
You say what?
Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren.
He was feeding the flock. What do a flock consist of? All right, sheep, goat, cattle, right? Cattle. You know what I'm saying? Livestock. That's what the flock consists of. Okay? We were known for what? Dealing with the flock. All right? Dealing with the animals, dealing with the farmland. All right? So from there, what I want, go to Genesis, what I want, 8 and 9. No, 8. The Genesis 8 and 9, yeah.
The book of Genesis, chapter 8 and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated.
So we went back further to Noah, right? Noah dealt with what? The animals, right? He knew what was clean and what was unclean. All right, keep going.
To see if the waters were abated from off the face of the earth. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot.
Well, yeah, 8 and 9?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
And she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth.
Right.
Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him.
Jump to verse 20.
Verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And Noah built an altar unto the Lord.
Noah built an altar unto the Lord. All right. The same God that saved him is the same God that is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. Which is the God of the Israelites. Go ahead.
And took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl.
So Noah knew what was clean food and unclean food of the beast. All right, go ahead.
And offered burnt offerings on the altar. And the Lord smelled a sweet savor. And the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more.
So that's it. Basically, I'm showing you that Noah knew clean and unclean animals. This is what we read in Leviticus, all right? So let's go to what I want to go to. Deuteronomy 14. Deuteronomy 14 and verse, let me get it, going into the tithing. Yeah. 14 and start at verse 22. Yeah.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 14, verse 22.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt truly tithe all thine increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth.
That what?
That the field bringeth forth.
That the field bringeth forth. So let's see what comes from the field that we have to what? Now I want to say cultivate and to take care of, basically. All right, which is the herds, what we read, right? And the land that we inherited, right? We had to take care of all these things. This is a part of you. You have to connect back with that. All right, go ahead.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
Year by year. So we did this on a consistent basis. Go ahead.
And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Right, which was Jerusalem. Go ahead.
The tithe of thy corn.
The tithe. So of course we don't tithe today. So your 10% we don't need, but you actually seeing what the 10% was at that time.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
The tithe of thy corn.
So the tithe of thy corn. Where do corn grow? In the field.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Of thy wine.
Of thy wine, grapes, vineyards grow in the field. Go ahead.
And of thine oil.
And of thy oil, what? Olive trees. Right? Go ahead.
And the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Right. So this is a part of our rich heritage, which we don't connect with. All right. Which some of us, again, this is some of us, but for the most of us, we don't know. We don't see. We don't connect with those things. We don't connect with the earth. All right. To bring forth the seed that's planted so it can bring forth life, to nourish the people. We don't connect with those things, all right? Because we so far removed from them, all right? So you see, I'm going through our heritage and how rich it is. Let's go Deuteronomy 20:11, all right? To see, so we had vineyards, we had the field, which we planted corn and so on and so forth, right? We took care of the sheep, the goats, the lambs, things of that nature, right? We had ceremonials, laws for us, the feast of the Lord in Leviticus 23. We had marriage feast, which was honorable, 7 to 14 days. And now we go get into being self-sufficient and making our own clothes. That's how rich our heritage is, all right? We wasn't wearing no Louis, what's some more of these designers? Gucci, Finley, whatever. Yeah, we wasn't wearing these, all right? The Dior's and all this stuff. Sean John, no, we had our own style, all right, that God gave us, all right? And let's see what he prescribed for us, how we should make our clothes, all right? Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not wear a garment of diverse sorts, as of woolen and linen together.
So it said, this is something that holding us to a high standard of not having woolen, which is from an animal, and linen, which is from a plant, mixed together. That's what he's telling us, not to mix those textiles, all right? Don't mix that. Have one and then have the other one. And then, of course, today you have a lot of man-made stuff, products of that's in our clothing, elastic and so on and so forth, right? But polyester, right? There you go, polyester, you know what I'm saying? So, but God gave us the understanding on what to do and what not to do. That's what set us apart, all right? So let's go to Exodus 28 and 39. Exodus 28 and 39. So we know basically what to put together and what not to put together when it comes to making a garment, all right, making clothing, all right? Let's read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 28 and verse 39.
Uh-huh.
And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen.
We do what? Say it again.
And thou shalt embroider.
Embroider. Do you know the process of embroidering? Takes a needle, all right? Takes, I guess a lot of going in and out to perfect it and make it the design you want. Right. To do the stitching on the shirts and the clothing, the garments, all right? All these things took time and effort and expertise. We had that expertise, all right? We didn't have to go to these sweatshops or go to China, all right, or Japan to get our garments from. We were our own manufacturers, all right? Go ahead.
And thou shalt make the miter, the miter of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework.
The girdle of what?
Needlework.
Needlework, sewing. All right. So our sisters knew how to what? Sew. Today, all they know how to do is twerk. All right. That's all they know how to do. Be a video vixen and have chase the money, chase the basketball players. All they know is what they've been taught in the world. All right. But not how rich they are as a nation. All right. I know we got to pause it, but what's that one in Acts about Tabitha? Oh, here you go. Go to Acts 9 and verse 32. No. Read 36, and we're going to jump down to 39.
Yes, sir.
We're going to show you just an example of the needlework, all right, that our foremothers did for the nation. All right, go ahead.
The book of Acts, chapter 9, verse 36.
Uh-huh.
Now there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, which by interpretation is called Dorcas.
A disciple, a student of who? Christ. Go ahead.
This woman was full of good works
Full of good works, right? Go ahead.
and alms deeds,
And alms deeds,
which she did.
right. So she gave to the nation, and she did the work in the nation.
That's right.
Go ahead. So jump to 39.
Verse 39.
Uh-huh.
Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made,
Dorcas is Tabitha,
while she was with them.
So it said, read that about it said, and show what?
And showing
Mhm.
the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them.
They were showing her work. Right. All right. The labor of love she put in for her nation. All right. Go ahead and finish 40.
Verse 40. But Peter put them all forth and kneeled down and prayed, and turning him to the body, said, Tabitha, arise. And she opened her eyes, and when she saw Peter, she sat up.
Right. So she had died and she came back. Right. That's some of the power we had back then. Don't have that power today, though. All right. So let's go to Numbers 15:38. We're almost done. This is another part of what? Our garments. All right. Of that needlework that our sisters do. All right. Now today, of course, they got machines. You know what I'm saying? Make it a little faster. But you know what I'm saying? Back then, they had that needle, and they was going to town with it. All right? So read that right quick.
The book of Numbers, chapter 15, verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
Fringes in the borders of our garment. This is another part of our attire. All right? Because up above, when you read, a brother was sinning, all right, picking up sticks, and he was put to death. So our God had to give us another addition to our wardrobe to remind us of the commandments. Let's go see it. Go ahead.
Throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
So again, that goes back to the generations, all right, to where they did that back then. We still doing it today. All right, go ahead.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it.
Look upon the fringe,
and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
All the commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not what else? Serve any other gods before me. All right. Have no idols. All these laws that our God gave us, thou shalt not covet. All right. It's so many laws that our God gave us. That's why he gave us fringes. All right. To look upon them and remember those commandments. Go ahead.
And do them.
And do them.
And that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye use to go a whoring.
Right, which our people do today, because they ain't got the fringes on. They don't remember the commandments, all right? They don't remember that Christ wore fringes, all right? When a woman with the issue of blood touched his hem of his garment, that was the fringes that she touched, all right? So this is another addition to your wardrobe, all right? So now, let's finish it off, Jeremiah 5:11, right? Jeremiah 5 and 11. I pray y'all got something from this class and able to see how rich and what responsibilities you have in being in the nation of Israel to come back to your laws and continue to show your people how precious they are and set apart. Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 5 and verse 11. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, saith the Lord.
So the house of Judah and the house of Israel, that's all us. Northern and southern kingdom have dealt treacherously. I'm busting the word. Treacherously against our God. All right. That's why that fire, when we read in Jeremiah 7:17, was kindled. All right, because we dealt treacherously against him. All right. So go to Jeremiah 33 and 7. All right. So in dealing treacherously with him, he had to let us go. All right. Now that's why we serve the other nations. That's why we go to them in Deuteronomy 28 and 48 for want of all things. All right. Water, food. We know nothing today, right? Because now it has to be provided for us. When back in the day we provided these things for ourselves. All right. Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verse 7. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return.
So God says he's going to call the captivity of northern and southern kingdom to do what? Return. That's what we're telling you today. To return. Repent. Okay? Bethink yourself and come back to the laws of God. Come back to your rich heritage. Go ahead.
And I will build them as at the first.
The Most High said he will build us as at the first. Right now, we're in that building stage. Come and gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. Building as a nation. Relying and depending on one another. Versus this system that's set up to have a selfish, self-willed mentality. All right? So I pray y'all got something from the class. Remember to continue to like, share, and comment on these videos of 15 minutes with the captains. And Lord will, till next time, we'll see y'all soon. Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Don't pray.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.